enjoying doing what our parents logically want us to do. Okay, it's that simple. It's that sensible. It's that logical. A child can make sense of that. Okay, that's the way God rolls. And when we got to get it, we got to not live for this ephemeral, temporal scene, man. It blows. And if it blows for anybody else, okay, unnecessarily, particularly, I mean, I don't like natural disasters. I mean, we just had a dam break. What was that? That wasn't even a natural disaster, really. It just blew out because of poor engineering, right? Who do we blame? The engineers. Maybe they had to cheap out. They had to save a few bucks, right? That's probably it. The love of money, the root of all evil. Just happened in Michigan, right? So, it's bad enough when natural disasters happen, which are across the board. All the bad things that organically happen and befall us, but we all have to face those things. But it's the inorganic stuff that picks on people. It's bias, it's discriminating, like classism. It's ancient feudalism. Same old thing. It's just neo-feudalism what's going on. We're being held captive by the money masters of misery. And the reason they run the show is not because they're smarter or better or more blessed. It's because the opposite is true. It's because they're meaner. They're more willing to do those dastardly things that you couldn't pay a regular, a decent, upright human being to do for any amount of money. We wonder why the evildoers have the power in this world and what they're putting God up against. I mean, you think God, we could say, well, God's a paper tiger. Hey, he doesn't do things on my timetable or anybody else's timetable. Jesus said, I don't even know when the Father is going to put his foot down. Okay, but that day is coming. And we need to get ready for it. We all need to get ready for it and take it very seriously, this thing about eternal salvation and what's involved. The reason I get into economic matters is an attempt to empower people to, first of all, understand how you're being held captive, why, okay, because these people are the most evil ones at the very top echelons of this perverted pyramid of power. Okay, that's who it is. We're talking about the money printing class with this perpetual patent to the money. Do you understand the vast, wanton, satanic power of money, the purse strings, the answer to everything? That's who's at the very top of this thing. And who's given them the carte blanche legitimacy to do it? It's these top politicians in the Senate and the Congress, and even a lot of the times in the executive branch. I don't think Trump's in on those. I mean, clearly he's not the sharpest tool in the shed. If he's been drinking aspartame, that diet soda pop, I mean, that's the worst thing for the brain ever. He's just got a really strong constitution. But I don't think Trump is on the inside track of the really diabolical ones. I've never heard of Trump going to a Bilderbergers group, because that's where you'll find these people. And it doesn't take all of them. So I'm not saying everybody that goes to Bilderberger is evil. I'm not saying everybody in Congress and Senate is evil. But the majority of these people are, or at the Federal Reserve. They're not all evil. Let me be very clear. But a critical mass is all you need. What's a critical mass? The amount that needed to get the job done, I'm talking about. They're getting the job done. Like the assassination of JFK. There was still hope that maybe the return of Jesus was imminent. Because if things ever turn around for the common man on planet Earth, okay, and we start seeing true capitalism, it's a game. Okay, it's a game, but if it's played fairly, it involves things like strict adherence to supply and demand principles, accountability, oversight, checks and balances, free market, competition. You understand? And when you put all those things in the mix, then you get this organic thing that happens within this game. It creates a rising tide of prosperity that lifts all boats. It doesn't swamp some boats and lift others to the highest heavens, as this mutation of pseudo-capitalism, it really amounts to no more than a kleptocracy, really. Like Max Kaiser would put it, a kakistocracy. It's theft. I thought of a new term recently. It's a theftocracy. It's all about robbing you. That's what it's about. It's about exploiting the productive class, the working class, okay? Belittling them and saying, well, marginalizing them, subjugating them through to educating the public, saying, well, these are just unskilled workers. We got teenagers doing those jobs. We don't need them. I mean, why would we want to pay them a living wage? Don't you want to save? You know it would cause inflation if you paid them a living wage, paid them fairly. So we've got to, here you can, I'll make it easy for you to justify it. I won't call it rationalize it, but we'll call them, stupid. But they're just uneducated. You understand? They're unskilled. Even though, yeah, of course, let's not talk about it a lot, that the jobs are imperative that they're doing to the welfare of society. So we absolutely need these people. But you want to save a few bucks, right? I mean, you don't want, you got to pay more. You put two and two together, and everybody knows if you pay the workers fairly, you're going to pay more. Do you understand how maleducation, malevolent? It's malevolent education. Do you understand what I mean? So it's way worse than just stupidity, okay? Because all these people could claim incompetency, the need for the bailout of '08, for example, and say, well, we were just, stupid and incompetent, and we learned our lesson, so bail us out now, even though it's so obviously, if you're paying attention, you don't even have to know a thing about economics. 90+% of the American people wanted these bankster class to fall on their faces. It's criminality. That's capitalism. You see a market correction. Housing prices take a nosedive. Tough. Put your money in the piggy bank. Save on your housing costs. Find some way to keep your housing costs low. Boycott high housing costs. Use your damn brains. Stop calling it good because you've been trained. Oh, the value of my house went up for no reason. Yeah, in real estate they call that an unearned increment. Sounds suspiciously like an ill-gotten gain. How stupid are people? Imagine the mainstream media trying to tell you, hey, the value of your food went up at the supermarket, which translates to higher prices. And you think, what do these idiots, how stupid do they think I am, telling me that the value, what the hell does that even mean? The value of my food went up. I know what that translates to. The prices went up. Hey, but half the people are invested in food stocks, so they're going to benefit. And, so it's good for them just because it's bad for the other half of the population. Hey, it's capitalism. You want American trash? Get the hell out of here. You don't like capitalism? What's wrong with you? Are you mental? And the Labor Department, utterly, obviously, deliberately remiss at giving anywhere near adequate cost of living adjustments to minimum wage workers for over half a century. For God's sake, then we're going to blame them for inflation. And people wonder why I'm a little... You got to understand what you're up against. A juggernaut of pure evil genius. We all need to get it. You could be as smart as you want. Turn to God and say, God, enlighten me. If my opinion on my belief system, my philosophy, credos, whatever, or lack thereof, are wrong, straighten me out. You want the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth? You're ready to inherit a better world, be found worthy and deserving of being numbered among the meek, the righteous that are going to inherit that world? Okay, save your soul, salvation. You got to get it. You got to hate your life in this world. You got to get it. When you get it, you just understand how badly, profoundly we've been duped, how far down this demonic rabbit hole toward hell we are as a civilization, as a species. For God's sake, man, we're cooked. Okay, we're done, man. They traded us reality for smartphones and laptop computers and crap, trinkets and knickknacks. Look over here. Get distracted, get diverted, dissipate your time. Stay confused, stay ignorant. Ignorance is bliss, after all. We've trained you well. Yeah, we're in a lot of trouble. It's going to be traumatic. If it truly is the beginning of the return of Christ, because that's what it's going to take. Obviously, man has failed miserably, and we know we're up against a juggernaut, a pure evil genius. People that have sold their souls for a few bucks, okay? Turds and turdlets, all those sycophantic minions that go along, they know which side their bread is buttered on. They know they're going to trust in the establishmentarians. They know the elitists, the money printing class, the top politicians. God, we're in so much trouble, my friends. We need God so badly. We all need to cry out to the Lord for help because we're in trouble. We've got to care about our fellow human beings. Okay, the least of men, like Jesus said. If we're not doing that, if we're not caring, when I see the homeless out there, I see Jesus Christ. People wonder, where does all your money go? Well, think about it. I don't want to talk about it, okay? Let's put it that way. Read your Bible. You'll understand why I don't want to talk about it. Okay? I care about these people like I care about Jesus Christ. Do you understand? And you should too. We all should. We call ourselves a Christian nation. For God's sake. For what? For shame. For shame. Christian nation. Trump, there's one reason I voted for Trump. One. Something Hillary Clinton didn't say. And if she had said it first, I would have voted for her probably. She's ashamed. He said he's ashamed of homelessness in America. I'm ashamed of homelessness in America. And I said, that's my man. That's it. I can't stand Trump. I had no regard for Trump. None. And people hear me. They've just known me talking for years. I'm an advocate for the downtrodden, for the dispossessed. We need to boycott high housing costs. Get real. We want our housing dollars to go up in worth. There's no excuse for this. None. We're spending $50 billion a year on Section 8 housing to subsidize housing costs for people that can't afford their housing costs. We look down on these people. We blame them for being stupid or lazy or on drugs. They've got some problem why they're poor. These defective people. We don't ever talk about true capitalism versus this mutation of a pseudo-capitalism we got going on for over half a century. No checks and balances. People say, oh, he just said he thinks the answer is raising wages. No, true capitalism, okay, if the Labor Department was there, hey, the cost of living went down, guess what? Wages are going down. That'd be delightful to the employer's ears, right? Well, that's great. It's a mandated law. I can lower my wages on my workers and save a lot of money. It's a two-way street. Okay, I'm trying to make it very clear to people. I know what I'm talking about in regard to this. I know what's supposed to happen organically when it comes to capitalism and what hasn't happened, why we're in the fix we're in. Okay, how are you held captive? Okay, it's by the money lovers. It's the money. Do you understand how distinct we are from all the other creatures who have no use, absolutely no use for money? We're by far and away the most intelligent creature, but are we the most mature? No, I submit to you, we are the least mature. Clothing, what's with the nakedness? Look how we're all hung up about these things. What is it? You got to go into your Bible to understand these things. The first question God asked was, who told you you were naked? We would have been oblivious to it, just like all the other creatures. Money, we wouldn't have had to deal with this. We can imagine a world without money. Try it. Okay, we're without limits in terms of what we can imagine because we're created in the image and likeness of God. That's the reason. We are His children. We are like little gods, but we've got a big responsibility that goes along with that. We're created just a little lower than the angels. We've got to represent that to other people properly as best as we can. And we got to know where we can take solace and, who's the one that's going to save us at the end of the day. Sure, the military and law enforcement, friends, family, they might die for you, okay? But they can't save your soul. So I'm trying to point you, I can't save your soul either. No human can. Only our owner can do that. He's the judge. He's the one that's going to decide where we go on Judgment Day. And we've got to care about the least of men. So we take that $50 billion a year. I mean, it's just knowing the difference. I could explain in 1 minute to a child why buying something is better than renting something. Okay? You understand? Because one has a payoff date. So if you got to go into debt temporarily when you buy something because it's too expensive, you can't really afford it. It's bad. You should be able to pay cash, but it's called a mortgage. So you buy a house. Most expensive item most people ever buy in their lives. And then, so you pay it off. And you say, wow, you're up 30 years and I'm done. And, all I got to pay is the property taxes on it. But then the other thing is renting. And that's perpetual. So they're forcing the American people, whoever's calling the shots. It goes against all reason and logic, mathematics, and capitalism. What the hell are we talking about here? If we got to have giveaway programs, let's at least make it so there's a light at the end of the tunnel. Okay, so with buying people houses, okay, and a lot of people are happy with very little, very modest places, okay, you understand, don't you want to at least give everybody their dignity? Don't you want to do that if you have the capability? Do you want to stand before God and say, no, I didn't believe that. I believed like the way I'm told to believe. I'm with the establishmentarians. There's got to be a rhyme and a reason. There's got to be. There's got to be. I'm telling you, no. I've studied in this arena. There isn't. It's just pure evil genius. That's all it is. Evil men run the show. I'm telling you, and a whole lot of collaborators. And I'm trying to reach those people that are evil and they don't know it. Because, my friends, let me tell you, I believe this with every fiber of my being. It is very easy to be evil and to be totally unawares, to be oblivious to it. It's easy. Our hearts just aren't completely right. We haven't submitted to God on a very personal level and saying, God, if I'm wrong about anything, then right me. Please just give me the fortitude, the wherewithal to accept the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Because I don't want to go down to that place. I don't want to be with those